What if you cut a tree from its roots and you relocate it to another place, another country perhaps, and you're hoping that the tree will eventually develop new kind of roots, will settle down there. Will it live, will it thrive, or will it die? That's the question of today's video, and that really refers to displacement, spiritual displacements, which is actually a form of soul fragmentation. And in many shamanic traditions we have a practice which we call soul retrieval, which solves that issue around displacement and soul fragmentation. Because many people are actually not really conscious about this. Millions of people have been displaced from the lands, from the country, from the home, their base of where they felt they belong. Millions of people had to escape the country because of the conflict we know today and the conflict we have experienced in our past. However, there are of course also many people within our Western society that actually volunteer to displace themselves because of a job, a career, a business, a relationship, whatever. They move to another country. However, what I experienced within my own life, within my own experience, is that also can come with a new set of challenges. Challenges you have probably never thought about it when you were in your home base, where your roots were at. However, if you are really honest with yourself, when you were living at your place you call home, that you grew up with, you never had a feeling that you had a longing to come home? And this experience of coming home has actually nothing to do with a place or a location. So what I'm actually really talking about is coming home in your soul. Because let's face it, if we are really diving further into this metaphysical philosophy of that our soul came here with, let's say, a contract, a purpose or a cause we must work on. The only thing is that our pure soul came here in this physical body, into this vessel, with a companion we call the ego. And then we come here in this environment, in this physical density. And the first thing that is happening is that we forget everything about the soul contract. We forget everything about our true nature, our true authentic self. We get sidetracked because of all the conditions that are projected on us from our upbringing, society. And we create these conditions that will lead us into a path. And then one day we realize, we wake up, is that path we are on is far out of alignment with that place we call home. And this home state is of course the path that has been given to us before we came here. So this process of remembering or reuniting, become a member once again of our soul family, of our soul contract, is this process of becoming conscious about everything that we learned about along the way that got us sidetracked from our true authentic self. And one of these paths might be is that we indeed move to another country where perhaps our direct ancestors from our lands were not originated from here. However, of course, within our spirits we have ancestors that are also indirectly attached to us, where we can tune in and tap into their knowledge and wisdom to help us to realign ourselves on this path. And when we talk about the ancestors of this land, of England, the land of the angels, and why it's called the land of the angels, because in Glastonbury we have, of course, the heart chakra of the planet. And even, of course, I am from the Netherlands, and what I can say of living here, I look to the modern society, and I've said it many times, I do not really feel like I am part of that kind of society. And when we feel that, when we have this ease within our spirits, is that when we are trying to adapt and to fit into that society that we were never meant to fit in the first place, we create this disharmony within ourselves. Like, it's just never really the right temperature for you. Let's say it in a metaphorical way of speaking. It's never too warm, it's never too cold, and you just don't really feel like, you know, you belong here at the country you live in. You also find it very challenging to find your flow, like your purpose. What is that we are really meant to do here? Who are you exactly? What is your true authentic self? How do you speak your truth, your values? How do you value yourself? So other people can also see the value that you give to yourself and that you like to share with others unconditionally, without giving away something from yourself that drains you or depletes you. Instead of like, while you are giving away that gift that exists inside of you, that is coming from your authentic self, and that you want to give unconditionally, without any expectation or condition, because that is just who you are. Like this tree giving his oxygen to us. That's just what a tree does. There's no expectation from that tree. There's no condition from that tree. It's just what it's meant to do. And when you feel you are displaced, like you have been ripped apart from your roots and you have been planted somewhere else, and good luck, see how you are growing there. Let's see how you will thrive there. Or will the wind will knock you over? Like a candle in the wind. Never know where to turn to when the rain kicks in. And what it means is that everything you try to do, it drains you. It makes you feel fatigue, mental tiredness, emotional tiredness, feeling on the edge of burnouts. The least amount of effort gives you high levels of stress. You find it very difficult to create any kind of consistency or be persistent with anything, and nothing really seems to give you joy or excitement. If you are in this position, you know that you gotta do some work to realign yourself by remembering that's what you are here to give. Giving oxygen like a tree does. And you can do that through soul retrieval. It's a continuous process we all must work on. And the work we really are doing and we must do is not so much of trying to follow what society and others are giving to us, like what we think we are supposed to do, climbing in hierarchy. Instead, we must do the challenge, the big challenge of really remembering the deeper aspects of our soul. is to really remember our soul contract. Make friends with the ego. It recognizes that we have that is always out there trying to help you out with your survival. But recognizes that what you do right now, is that from the ego or is that from the heart? I recognize it when I'm doing something from the ego, because it will makes me feel inauthentic. It will drains me. And that's when I know like I'm doing something conditionally. And we're here eventually to overcome our traumas, our past life traumas, that also has been experienced within our ancestral lineage, directly and indirectly. That we're here to heal, because that's the part of the process of realigning ourselves with our authentic self. And I must say, this ain't a journey for the faint-hearted, because sometimes it feels like you are like in a washing machine, going all over the place with no direction, taking one step forward and falling 4 steps back. You're trying to get up again, and another month passed by, 2 months passed by, thinking like, I'm half my 30s, I'm half my 40s, I should finally be here, right? Isn't it? I should finally be that success that society has given to us, like this is how we should be, this is what we should have, and how we should be living. And it takes a lot of courage to step away from that, to embark on this journey of remembering your soul contract, of what exactly is it that you came here to do. Communicating with the spirit of nature, because right now humanity has been in complete out of a balance with this knowledge and wisdom that has been given to us by our ancestors, that they have been working on establishing, because there's a higher knowledge, intelligence in that reunites us. It improves our mental, emotional and spiritual well-being. If we learn to reunite with that flow, we can overcome our inner conflicts. Because right now what we are seeing in the world, the conflicts, is of course an outburst of what we have been holding on to for so long. Like holding a balloon with air under the water. You can pay all your attention and energy into holding that balloon under the water. Eventually it will pop to the surface. The apocalypse, the unseen truth coming to the surface. And that's exactly what's happening right now. And that's why we must do this work of remembering our true nature, our true authentic self. A soul retrieval might be one tool for healing our fragmented self, because we are all fragmented in some way, because of all the different beliefs and conditions that has been given to us. And we must unlearn everything that we have learned so far in order for us to experience life from a different angle, from a different perspective. Because the universe exists from infinite perspectives. But right now we have been passing on to different perspective, because that has been labeled as something we should not be paying attention to by the many organizations we see in the world. Therefore we see like the older traditional ways of seeing the world in, let's say, in shamanic traditions. Right now we look at this as complete nonsense. And in 2018 I have been through different kind of shamanic healing practices, and my ego has been resisting that ever since. Like, can't I be normal? Can't I just fit into a regular job or career? Can't I be just an entrepreneur, internet entrepreneur, and make my money and show the world that there is a better way of living by developing more options and access? But at the end, that's not really what life is about and what we are here to do. We're here to do something greater than that. That's what I've come to realize. I have passed that stage. And right now I am at a different stage of moving into a new direction. And that's really my sole purpose. The question, of course, is for you. What is it for you? So how do you know if you are meant to live in a different country or not? The last time I was in the Netherlands, I have done a numerology reading with someone, and I am at a life path number 9. Last year, the summer, when I was in the Netherlands, I spoke about what it means to live on a life path number 9. It's the last number. It's the final exam. And sometimes we must recognize and allow ourselves on the path we are on. Don't resist it. Of course we can resist it because we don't know what's ahead of us. We can only see the next step. And that's about it. Right now I see a little trail moving down the hill, but I can only see 10 meters ahead, and after that I don't know how steep the hill goes. But that's really what we must embrace, because if we look at the path we have already been walking on, and we already know how that was leading us into, knowing that what kind of answers you already found, then you know it's not longer relevant to go back on this path you have been already on. Recognize you are leading your own path as a trailblazer, as an explorer, as a way to experience new things. So when you realize on which life path you're on by calculating your date of birth numbers into a single digit, so for example in my case 1902, 1986, 19 February 1986, if I add all the numbers until I end up at one single number, that's number 9. Knowing that I do not have a number 5 in my life path, meaning that if I would move to another country, it might be good for my personal development, spiritual journey, and exploring life in different ways, but I'm not meant here to grow old. Eventually we can move around to explore different perspectives of life, of reality, which can really help us to expand our consciousness. But eventually we have to take all these knowledge and informations back into our backpack, where we can come back home where we all started and really grow something magnificent. So really, to figure that out, you can do any kind of numerology test online where you can explore your life path number. Based on that, you know that you're meant to be somewhere or not. I am here to learn about my spiritual journey. If I would stick to my home country, the Netherlands, Vaderland means land of the father. There's much more of a masculine energy there, and I would probably stay in this entrepreneurial marketing business stage. And here, that knowledge only exists in here, but not in here. And therefore, that kind of energy doesn't really ground me at this moment. And therefore I must do things that grounds me more, which are in different areas of life. And therefore I'm learning here more about nature therapy, ecotherapy. What does the spirit of nature does to us, for our physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being. That's what I'm here to learn. And that's my path. And eventually that knowledge that actually already exists within me. But for me it's also a stage of remembering what already exists in me, because we're not here to learn, we are here to remember. Into a way that is like accepted in our modern way of living. So we can share that knowledge in a way that others can benefit from that. Because it's all fine, you're exploring your own spiritual path, but if you spend all your time and energy into that, then what is it eventually that you're going to do with it in the real world? I'm going to leave it with this, and at the moment I'm just sharing very briefly the concept of soul retrieval and the element of spiritual displacement. And we can take this much further and much deeper. And if this is something you're interested in, then make sure to subscribe to this channel, where I explore different elements of mindfulness in nature, nature walks. I also organize hiking days with groups where we combine a little bit of hiking with some mindfulness in nature, some nature therapy, some forest bathing. But I'm also exploring the elements of shamanic healing, spiritual healing, as this actually is also very connected with each other. So if this has your interest, then make sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification, share this video, and I look forward to see you on my next videos. Take care for now, bye bye.